After 18 games, we've been through a ton already.
Not everything in the NBA, not everything in life is about winning.
Comes between him, muscles up, a lefty runner up and in.
More so in life, it's about the process.
Malcolm has become our leader.
Usually it's about a 2-year turnaround for an NBA team to get a G League affiliate. We've done it in 6 months.
Hopefully that time where I've been out watching the game has helped me when I go back for us to get that much better.
There have been guys who have stepped to the forefront. They've shown they're ready to find their footing.
My best players will get the most shots, but they also have a responsibility to make other players better.
The kitchen remodel projects, the product is what's behind me.
Nutrition helps the guys be that much better.
We've taken huge steps to putting the Trailblazers on the right path.
You got a lot of guys here that are wanting to prove who they can be in the league, and we're going to do it together.
I'm Rodney Billups. This is take number 1.
My name is Aaron Fentress.
My name is Casey Holdall.
My name is Lamar Hurd.
I work for the Oregonian/OregonLive.com, and I cover the Trailblazers.
I am the Trailblazers insider for the Portland Trailblazers. I have covered the team for going on 20 years now.
I have been covering the Trailblazers for 8 seasons now. I'm the television analyst.
It's been an interesting start for the Trailblazers 2023-24 season. Obviously, when you have so much turnover, it really allows a team to kind of reset the deck, really change the way that they view themselves and the way that they play and the way that they approach games and the way they approach a season. Using your will and your desire to be great as a way to drive your performance.
As far as how the team has played this year, the thing that jumps out the most is that they definitely play hard. There's been so many games where I've had my game story written, Blazers got blown out, and I look up and they're down 5. I'm like, dang, I gotta write about a comeback. Oh no, they might win. So I've been very impressed with their resolve. They don't quit.
The first few months of this season were unpredictable with the new group of players. It was also exciting. There's new storylines, there are new players to follow, and there was a new defensive scheme that arose out of nowhere. Young guys getting after it right away, picking up full court.
Monty pins you up against that sideline.
It's been a roller coaster, and it hadn't been easy, and our guys are taking it in stride. We're going to compete, we're going to be extremely hard to play against, and we're going to be uber prepared for whatever our opponent brings at us. And we've been able to do that a lot. Once we get healthy and continue to make strides with our older guys, leading our young guys, you're going to continue to see the super competitive team that puts out an exciting product every single night, and hopes to win some of these games, especially the close ones.
People expected that you're gonna have some struggles when you bring in so many new faces and a lot of young faces. I like to joke that there's 2 guys in the rotation that can't buy alcohol and can't get in the club, And whenever you have that situation, you're gonna have some growing pains, especially when you factor in the injuries. Anthony Simons, your best player, misses 18 games. And so there's just a lot of pieces that have to come together, and a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience, and that's tough to do in a league where we all know that veterans win. And when you have a lot of young players, you're gonna have some struggles.
Maybe different than years past where they were rebuilding or kind of restarting or just taking a different direction. It seems like there's a much better foundation now than maybe there was when they've done this before. You already had some players that you felt confident about. So you already had Anthony Simons, a guy who you know is going to be part of your future. You already had a guy in Shaedon Sharpe who, after his rookie season, you felt pretty confident that you knew at least what kind of a player he could become. And I think you also had a few vets in guys like Jeremy Grant.
I have seen this team respond tremendously to Coach Billups in terms of attacking, hitting first. Now, they have had their struggles, particularly in first quarters of games this season, but there's always been a response, for the most part, an awakening that takes place throughout a game. And a lot of times that comes after Coach Billups has had a chance to talk to the team, redirect some strategy. It hasn't always resulted in a successful basket or a successful stop or a win at the end of the day, but it has resulted in a certain mentality that the team has walked into each game with and that they respond with when they are the ones that get hit first.
School
really fun to see Anthony's growth as a player stepping out of the shadow of Damian Lillard. Other opposing teams, they're just now realizing, like, boy, this guy's really something special.
I think we're seeing a guy who's settling into not only his game, but to himself. He doesn't have to defer to anyone. He's learned from some greats. Now he can go out there and implement what he knows.
The injury made him take a step back this season, but now that he's back out there, it's been really exciting. The opportunity to cement himself as one of the cornerstones of this franchise. Now that he is back in the lineup, sky's the limit for Anthony.
You know, he's the longest tenured Blazer, 6 years now. He's just 24 years of age. So, something we, I think, have to remind ourselves about Ant.
Simons again going right back to the rack. Laid it in. He makes the contact and gets the call. Step into the line, a chance at a three-point play.
By far, the most important part of this season is seeing that growth from Ant. Having him mentor this team both on and off the court, to see Ant's growth as a person and as a leader has been maybe just as gratifying, you know, to see him kind of step out of his comfort zone, you know, because he's a quiet guy by nature, and, you know, for him to kind of push himself to be more vocal. And Anthony, as a guy who's actually played for Chauncey the entire time that he's been here, he has, I think, a level of understanding of what Chauncey wants that allows him to be another coach on the floor and in the locker room.
That's what we've been the whole season. I'm just glad we pulled one out. It feels good to be a good team. A great team at home, so we'll keep it rolling.
I always tell him, as a leader, just say what you see. We give him a lot of freedom. And I'm saying, with that freedom, Ant, it's your responsibility to make other players better. My best players will get the most shots, but they also have a responsibility to make other players better.
Grant's presence as a 29-year-old vet who's been around the league and played with a lot of great players, future Hall of Famers, is huge for this team. People wondered at the time when they re-signed him if that made any sense. You know, I hate to say it, but to have an adult in the room is huge. You know, to have someone who's been around to help guide these young cats. I can't imagine where they would be without him. We talk about these games where they've had these dramatic comebacks. Well, part of that has been Grant getting hot and not quitting and leading by example. And so if you're 21, 20 on this team, you're looking at Jeremy Grant. He hasn't quit. You know, he's getting paid. He's out there fighting, and you have to as well.
You know, given the rewards of the big contract, we've seen no letdown at all from him. He's been another terrific, quiet leader for this ball club, has a real presence on both ends of the floor. You know, here he is, his 10th year in the league, and he continues to improve.
Jeremy's a great leader defensively because of the things that he's seen as the best defender on our team last year. He's pouring into our rookies. Now you add the leadership and the offense. Jeremy's been outstanding for us this year.
North of 40% from three-point range. He's averaging 22 points. Those are both career highs for him.
The team is saying, JG, you're one of our top options. And when Anthony's out the game, you're our go-to guy. He has responded to that. He had to work to this point. He paid his dues, and this is his time to shine.
Grant's been a real star for the Blazers this year. One of the top two go-to guys on the ball club. He has handled that just beautifully. And again, he's so quiet, he's poised, very thoughtful guy. I think our players really gravitate to that kind of attitude.
Huge get for them to bring him back, and it's been great to see him rise and step into that role.
Particularly with a lot of young players learning how they're supposed to play under Chauncey Billups. You had a guy in Jeremy Grant who just wants the team to be successful, wants his teammates to be successful, and is willing to do whatever that takes in order to see those goals realized.
Jeremy's a safe space. He's somebody who everybody feels like they can go to no matter what the situation is, and feel okay about it while also understanding whatever the reality of the situation is. Team might be up 20, JG is still calm and cool, he's pumping up everybody else. Team might be down 20, he's not panicking, but he's also understanding of the element of intensity that needs to pick up. So there's always this calm, consistent presence with Jeremy, and people are able to read his moods. They really feel that because they know he doesn't waste words, and he's a very good player. So it helps when somebody that has his ability can also communicate the way that he does in such a calm and smooth manner. It really connects.
You never have to doubt where he's coming from and where his heart is. I think that allows you to be an influence in the locker room that is really rare in professional sports and that is really helpful, particularly for a young team, for guys who are trying to find their way. It really does a good job, and it really helps in allowing the team to get through tough times while also learning and growing and becoming the players and the people that they hope to be someday.
Can I have a chicken for salad? Thank you. My name is Foreman. I'm the executive chef and director of nutrition at the Trailblazers. So I have worked in a lot of kitchens, and because of that, I was able to use my knowledge of what works and what doesn't work to be able to fully, completely design this kitchen to be an a la carte style kitchen. We wanted to make sure that we're able to utilize all of those local products in the best way possible, and to us that means cooking the food after somebody's ordered it as opposed to before. But it wouldn't have happened without management and ownership. Jody really believed in this, so it was stressful, right? Because everybody believed in it, coach believes in it, and it's just a really important part of this building. This tiny corner of this building is super important, and again, it's just a place that people gather. So the 5-6 months from start to finish was really hard, but because of all the great people that we had working on this project, it turned out incredible. All right, let's see. Coffee tables. Oh my gosh.
Obviously, this is essentially the same packet that we've looked at previously. So far, we've updated the floor plan. Hallie came into this project with such a strong vision for what she wanted that it was great to just be able to take that from her and run. She's always been informative with lots of feedback and really helped us bring that vision to life together.
Awesome. Yeah, because they'll be like embossed with the Blazers logo for some of them.
The vision of the remodel was really driven a lot by Hallie and what she envisioned for her space.
All right, so this is the space. So we're currently standing in the future dining room. So we're gonna have some bar seats, cold service, hot service. It's actually crazy how much hasn't changed from this drawing. We're gonna have a lot of communal tables, chairs, really the opportunity for everybody to, just sit communally and enjoy a meal.
Her vision was really the idea of a much more kind of hospitality experience versus what they had had previously, which was just a lot more separated, the back of house versus front of house experience. So that was a huge driver in the design direction for the project.
I drew the sketch, they call it a napkin sketch, on January 31st of this year. The product is what's behind me. We'll do the risotto beans, crispy parm. Everyone in the kitchen is incredible. They are working tirelessly, on their feet all day, always have a great attitude, always willing to jump in and do anything.
Working on a kitchen is always a little different than like a typical building project. So as a kitchen, there's a lot of things you have to consider as far as mechanical and electrical systems, and then also integrating the aesthetic design into that and making sure that it all comes together.
The kitchen remodel project was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done. How many different touches that had to happen in order for this to be what it is today. That first day that we opened was really special. You know, everybody here is pretty low key, so there was no outward like, oh my gosh. We were able to see Coach's reaction. You could tell by looking at their faces that they knew that it was worth the wait.
Before and after, right?
Our new kitchen it's a vibe, man. I love it. They did an amazing job on it. It's beautiful. That's become, in a very small amount of time, the heart of our facility.
The practice facility is like our home, even more than the arena. We're there every day. We spend hours there. We're with the same group of people every day. So the energy there is so important, and I think that kitchen really helps facilitate that. Nutrition is arguably the most important thing as a high-level athlete. Us having a new kitchen, us having the level of chefs that we have, I think it's a huge advantage for us.
So I always say with nutrition, I think it's one of those little things, right? So you can be doing all the training, but it helps the guys be that much better.
I was just telling Chris. You
tell him, Nick.
It's gonna be a good one. I don't feel so.
Even though we are a food-first nutrition program, there are other things that we do touch on, right? So we give the guys their collagen and beet juice before practice. We'll give them customized vitamin packs every single day, protein shakes post-practice.
Hey, Shell, she's legit, man. She's a troop at what she does.
Just making sure that the guys know that there's somebody there for them.
There we go.
Nutrition is another one of those pieces where we're just trying to give them all the tools they can so that they can perform at their best. These guys are playing hard in a lot of minutes, so making sure that they have the energy to do that, to help them stay healthy, whether we're talking about injury or we're talking about illness. Making sure they're recovering. It is a long season, a lot of games.
I think the nutrition team's been great. They're so invested into our well-being. They're always checking on if you need anything, let us know.
It's one department, so even though we have kitchen staff and we have the dietetic staff, everybody really works together because our athletes at the end of the day are why we're here. We all have one goal, and that's just to get the players the best nutrition that they possibly can to perform their best.
Yeah, nutrition is really important. We go on so many trips to travel. The demand on your time, when you fuel your body, that's important. Your body is your temple.
I think Shaedon Sharpe is maybe the key to this team's growth, what they're going to be going forward. A guy who has so much talent. I mean, you talk about scratching the surface. Shaedon is so early in his basketball journey, having not played in college. He's really just kind of figuring out the NBA.
Shaedon's ceiling is up there as high as some of the game's greatest.
I can't imagine a world where he's not an all-star at some point.
His explosiveness has just been off the charts. He's extremely competitive, doesn't back down.
He's that intriguing. He moves in a way that 99% of NBA players can't move. As his understanding of the game picks up, and as a hunger to get better continues to increase, we have the chance to see something you just don't see every day.
You never know what you're going to get. Aside from the fact that he can shoot from anywhere, he's developing as a playmaker, he doesn't mind getting dirty on defense. One thing that stands out the most is that he will try to dunk on anybody. He just doesn't care. No fear. Complete, just tenacity.
Obviously, when he attacks the rim, that is dynamite and really ignites the ball club, gets everyone fired up around him.
Super athletic, super skilled. I credit Shea. We got this kid who kind of matured overnight. He's been able to fight through adversity a lot better, but also just take coaching and expect more. And Shea's just really been able to take that to a whole nother level.
I think in the second half of the season, this team is going to be able to show some of the growth that they've made between Shaedon, Scoot, Anthony, and Jeremy. Really guys to watch out for in the second half of the season.
You got to go through the grind with these young guys, and if you stick with it, and they blossom, all of a sudden you have yourself a really good young core that's gone through the wars to develop into a pretty darn good team. So if everything hits perfectly, this is going to be a team that should be back in the playoffs in a couple years. But hey, again, it's the NBA. Anything can happen, but I just believe with the young talent they have right now, there's a good young core here that can develop into a really good team pretty soon.
It's really been fun to have, in some respects, a new team to cover. And, you know, when you have young players, everything is fresh and new. And when you're in the locker room and, you know, see the frustration after a tough loss or see the elation after a comeback victory and to see the interplay of young guys making their way in the league together, it really kind of reminds you why you got into it in the first place. The fact that anything can happen and you have some of the best athletes who's ever walked the face of the earth doing things on a night-to-night basis that maybe you've never seen before.
You get a glimpse of the talents of your young guys. You know what you have in your veterans.
There have been guys who have stepped to the forefront. They've shown they're ready. They're ready to find their footing. Prioritizing development. It's about foundation. It's about building a structure that won't be knocked over, that can stand for a long time, that can take this organization to the heights we all want to see it go.